everyone, and welcome to The Spiritual American. My name is Dr. Ann O'Hare, and I'm your host. And today we will be talking about creativity of the mind. It's going to be a very nice topic. Last time we talked about the landscape of the mind, now creativity of the mind. But before we get started, if you're listening on YouTube, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. As you know, that helps us to get this content out to more and more people. And of course, please consider sharing with your friends and family as well. So, creativity of the mind. As I was thinking about this, two thoughts came to mind. One thought was creativity of the mind is very easy to understand in children. Children imagine things, they play pretend, they create experiences by pretending to be something, or they imagine things like imaginary friends. There was an episode not too long ago about experiencing things in the mind, having experiences in the mind, and it was about heaven, and it was a little bit different than this. So this time we're actually going to talk about how I can get some control over what's going on inside my mind. The mind is a very creative place. If you think about it this way, it's working already. Maybe I don't have that much understanding of how the mind works. And maybe if I did understand it a little bit better, maybe I could use it to my advantage. That's the kind of the principle that we're working with here. So in the last episode, we talked about the landscape of the mind and the different aspects of functioning that's going on in the mind. Today, we're going to talk about the creativity. So I was saying the children is the one thought I had. The other thought I had about this is, again, talking to those of you out there who feel that meditation is a waste of time. And there's no way that I even have any control over my mind. Why do I need to have control over my mind? I have to do stuff. I have to get things done. So why do I need control over my mind? And then creativity. Well, I don't even have time to look at it, much less be creative about it. So I'm talking to you all now, and I'm saying there's something to be gained that's very practical here by being creative with your mind. What is there to be gained? Time, energy, self-respect, success. That's what's to be gained. The mind plays a huge part in our life. It's funny, many episodes we were talking about how we experience everything in our mind. And I was talking to my brother-in-law actually a couple of days ago. He's here visiting. And I was saying that we can get so much done. It's the mind that makes us move slower, or it's the mind that stops us. It's the mind that makes us waste time with our emotions or reactions or waste thinking. Now you could say, well, then you need to be more focused, Okay, well, fair enough. But in my experience, I've had enough force. There's been plenty of force put on me by myself. So for those of you who are less inclined to be in the creative thinking and more inclined to be in the practical, like explain to me what I need to do and explain to me how this is going to work, I'm going to talk to you also. Slogan of this podcast is heal, empower, and serve. And that's a process where we can use creativity in the mind. Healing. We had an episode on changing your memories. So for those of you, whether it's painful memories or recurring regrets or things like that, and again, I'm not talking about extremes. If you're in the extreme sense of extreme anxiety, extreme depression, where you're having problems functioning in life, please get appropriate mental health care, because you can still do this, but don't only do this. You need to get help, because if it's the extreme. So for those of you who are not in the extreme, healing. I want to heal the negative thoughts and things I have in my mind, and we can use creativity to do that. Somebody might say, well, well, how can I fix something that already happened? I can't fix anything that already happened, but I can work to change my memory of it, work to change my attitude about it, and work to change the ongoing thinking and feeling that I have since it happened. For instance, this is an example that I used in the other episode, but I'll share it again. So I applied for a job at work and I didn't get it. I was very upset because I was really sure that I was perfect for the job. And so I went to my boss and I asked my boss, why didn't I get it? And she proceeded to tell me this and that about how I showed up in the interview and something. For whatever reason, whatever she was saying to me, it made me feel terrible, made me feel worse. And I was resistant and I was upset and so forth. And that experience, not just not getting the job, but the experience with my boss, I had such pain in me for years. It was bothering me. Even the thought of that scene would cause me a lot of pain. And not too long ago, I decided that I'm going to use the creativity in my mind. I'm going to relive the memory. Now think about it for your own self. Do you have a memory that you can, they said this and I said this and they said this, and you remember every single aspect of that scene? Your own perception, of course, but it's your own mind, right? So in my own memory, and I brought up the scene and I told myself, you know what? I want to heal this memory. So I'm going to replay it and have her do, my boss, every single thing that I wish she would have done in that moment. Again, it wasn't about getting the job. So I'm not trying to like change reality. I'm really just trying to change my pain, heal my pain. I deserve to get my needs met in all situations. It's not the other person's responsibility to be perfect and be everything I need at every moment, but I still deserve to get my needs met. And you know what the good thing is? In the mind, there's no time. So whether it's a year ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago, 75 years ago, it doesn't matter. If I bring it up in my mind and it's a fresh hurt or a fresh thing, I can change it in my mind. So I did that in meditation. I brought up the scene and I had her sit next to me, put her arm around me, tell me that you really did a good job. Don't worry, there's going to be other opportunities. You're going to be a great leader and blah, blah, blah. I every single thing I could think of that would have made me feel good and complete in that situation, I created that memory. And in the creativity of my mind, I was able to have that experience. I could tell you, I don't have any pain anymore. It's gone. So that's one way. I'm using the slogan as a roadmap here. So that's healing. That's one creativity to use it for healing. Empowering. How can I use the creativity of my mind to empower myself? Well, one way I can do it is to use spiritual knowledge. I can use my mind to bring up spiritual knowledge. For instance, let's say the laws of karma. And I have an example of a student who came in and she heard the karma class and she was in very dire straits in her life. She had anxiety, she had a chronic illness, she had relationship issues, she had all kinds of stuff going on. And she heard the karma class, and in the class it said you're 100% responsible for your life. She took that to heart, and for a year I was working with her, like coaching a little bit, and she was able to transform every single aspect of her life, including her physical health, her relationships, everything. Just by taking that piece of knowledge to empower herself. So how did she use the creativity of the mind? She took that piece of knowledge and she implemented it in all areas of her life. And I'll give one example where I can remember where she had to be reminded. So she was getting a little upset one day. Normally now she wasn't getting upset. She was meditating. She was really feeling much more empowered. And so one day she was saying, I had the truck that she was driving broke down and she was feeling really worried about it. And, there was a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. And I said, okay, in that moment, so this is me being creative, giving a creativity. I said, in that moment, what percentage of you was upset and what percentage of you was logical and able to solve problems? She said 99% upset, 1% logical and able to solve problems. I said, okay, so let's work with the 1%. And for now, let's not, the 99 is there, but let's not let it be in charge. Let's let the 1% be in charge. And so she did. So now that creative way of making a percentage was a way that she kind of implemented when she got emotional. Like, okay, how much of me is emotional and how much of me is able to think? Okay, well, let me work with the one that's able to think. Isn't that a creative solution? And it empowers her. It empowered that person. So I'm not going to fall apart because I'm emotional. I might be emotional, but I still have part of me that can still function. So that's empower. And then service. So how can I be creative with service? So if you want to go back a few episodes, we did a episode on world service, and it was the creativity of the mind, being able to use my mind to share love, peace, powerful vibrations to the world. And again, talking to those of you out there who are skeptical and want to see results and things, you're going to see results in your self-respect. And the results are also because it's a way of using the mind in a positive way with the heart of helping, with the heart of benevolence. It's very different than using the mind for regret or upset or emotions or impulsiveness or obsessive thinking, repetitive thinking. Using the mind creatively to say, yes, I'm a soul. My nature is peace. Right now I feel peace. And right now I, this soul, am sharing my own peace with everyone. All souls and all of nature. I wish that everyone would feel peace. Those are pure thoughts and feelings, and they create experiences. It's a creative way to not only, if you want to say help, there's no proof, there's no physical proof that those vibrations are going to reach those people, let's say. I'm talking to the skeptics, okay? There's no proof. However, if I am spending my time and my energy and my thoughts creating positive feelings with the heart of wanting to benefit others, what does that make me? It makes me a giving person. It makes me a generous person. It's somebody I can be proud of. So for those of you who are kind of not in the, yeah, I love meditation camp, think about it in the self-respect camp. If I change the way I use my mind, if I change the way I use my attitudes and my feelings, and I use them for generosity or benevolence or good wishes, in my heart of hearts, I do wish well, right? Even the most hardened, determined person, practical person, I'm going to say in their heart, still want good for everyone. So I'm getting in touch with that pure feeling and I'm sharing it. And that gets me in touch with who I am as a benevolent person. That's the secret, actually. It's sometimes I say I'm starting my angelic heartbeat, my angelic circulation. So the creativity of the mind allows me to heal hurts, empower myself in situations, and actually upgrade my own self-respect. How wonderful. Maybe we didn't think like this before. This whole podcast is about introducing ideas that maybe we didn't think about before. It's based in spiritual knowledge, it's based in the science of consciousness. Practical application. I can tell you from my experience, I've been able to transform every aspect of my life, just like that student. And I'm experiencing more and more self-respect, contentment. It's not like you get there and it's over. It's deeper and deeper experiences, right? And more empowerment. And of course, there's life challenges. They're going to come, but my attitude towards my life has changed because I'm no longer thinking like I'm the victim of my life. When we feel disempowered, we feel like we're the victim of our lives. And it's not necessary. Our mind is a tremendous resource. If you check out the episode before, The Landscape of the Mind, like I shared in the episode, I started writing things down. I'm like, wow, this is going on, that's going on. Like, you don't realize it until you try to share it, how deep it actually goes. So keep listening to these episodes. We're going to get more and more and little bits of knowledge, experiences, and so forth. And in this case, the creativity of the mind. Think about what you wish for in life. Think about, is it that you want to stop feeling hurt? Is it that you want to feel more empowered? Is it you want to realize your goals in your life? You want to have a spiritual aim or have a spiritual experience? All of that can happen in your mind. My husband, Ken, who's also in this knowledge, and he practices meditation for over 40 years, he calls the mind the magic carpet. It's like the magic carpet is the mind. If we have a little bit of information and we have some understanding of how the mind works and how consciousness works and how karma works, right? Because we have to understand like the positive, neutral, and negative aspect of things. If we understand that, then we have some power to use that magic carpet to have experiences and also, like I said, develop self-respect and implement in our life and make changes. So I'll leave it there. Remember, our slogan is heal, empower, and serve. So until next time, thank you for being here and take care.